So in this video, I'm going to talk you through my first ever affiliate site. I'm going to tell you what was good about it, what was bad about it, why it failed, what I learned from it, and what you can learn from it too. So I started this site in June 2016, and it was in the Asian footwear niche, which is a very specific and perhaps slightly bizarre niche. But there are a few reasons why I decided to start this particular site in this particular niche. One, Amazon paid 10% on clothing products, which is their biggest percentage. So I thought, great, let's get in, get some of that money. Two, so my wife is from India, so I could easily sort of fact check the content as I go. Three, it's not a very competitive niche here in the UK, yet we have got a large Asian population, so I felt it had the potential to be a very lucrative website. So let's have a look at it. So I'm using Wayback Machine because this website hasn't been live for a few years now. If you haven't used Wayback Machine before, it's great. You can look at websites in the past. You can look at sites like the BBC or any site you want just to see what it looked like years ago. And if you're buying an expired domain as well, you can also check it out on there to see what was actually on it. So it's a really powerful, really valuable tool. So my old website, let's have a look. This was the domain. Let's see what it looks like. So this is the site, chapels.co.uk, all about Asian footwear primarily. You see, this is my homepage. And then these are sort of the main pages that I was really trying to rank, particularly Peshawari chapels. Let's have a look at that now. So this is my Peshawari chapels page. I really like this table I did. I think that's one good thing I did. See the prices on there, which probably isn't a good idea because I think Amazon do not like you doing that. And these image links as well, I believe, all went straight to Amazon. A nice big button there to send them to Amazon. And then I sort of had information about how they're made, when they're worn, history, all these different things that people may ask about them. In terms of the actual page, I think it's quite well structured, quite well laid out. And I had a similar page here. Yes, this is the Kolhapuri Chapels page, which I believe was the highest traffic page I had on this site. Seeing similar layout to the other page, big green button, nice little table. I haven't put the price on here. I don't know why I did it different on the two, but there we go. The layout is quite good. I quite like the way I've laid it out. It's broken up nicely. There's no big sort of walls of text and images. A nice little orange box, little image link there to Amazon. It's not the worst. One of the weird things I did with this site, and again, this was my first site, so I was new to all this stuff, was every page I made was a page rather than a post. So typically now, if you've got a blog, pretty much everything you'll be putting out will be primarily be posts, but all of my articles, these ones were pages. And then I built these sort of supporting pages as well. That's appearing on the wrong page as well. But I kind of had supporting pages, which I'd make as pages again, not posts, which just made it a lot more difficult to kind of sort out the site structure, to sort of really set it up how I wanted it to be. So this is the entirety of the blog. I've got one post on there, 8 things you have to experience in India, and that was it. It's not particularly keyword focused. It's not something I'm probably ever going to rank for. So I don't really know what I was thinking with this, why I wrote it. My whole aim with this site was to rank for Peshawari chapels, Kolhapuri chapels, and these other types of Asian footwear. And I really wasn't focusing on the blog. If I was to do a site like this now, I would be banging out the blog posts, loads and loads of them, and I wouldn't be focusing so much on these sort of buyer intent keywords because e-commerce sites are probably going to be ranking top for them. So another strange thing I did with this site was I built sort of like an Amazon affiliate store on the site. So you can see I've got Shop UK Saris online, and I've got like a page here where I just had all the images have gone, but there were images here of all these different saris on Amazon. And you can sort of filter it by different colours and prices and things. If you click on any of these, it'll just send you straight to Amazon to buy a sari. Now, quite why I tried this, I don't know, but it's not something that would really make sense to me now, just because Why would Google want to rank a site like this for, Indian saris instead of an actual e-commerce site that directly sells them? So I was wasting my time a bit with this, really. That said, I believe it did rank at an all-time high of about 16, which is quite surprising given how poor it is. Another weird thing I did with this site was I had two menus for some reason. I've got this one here, obviously, and I've got this sneaky one up here with an about and a contact. Don't know quite why I did that. One very strange thing I did as well was I had a this page, support us. So this support us page basically allowed people to donate to my website and leave their name and also a link if they wanted. So the reason I decided to do this was because at the time I didn't really know what I was doing with links, and I found that there were some sort of quite high authority sites that had these on them, and you could put your name, email, website in there, leave a comment, donate like 1 cent, and you get a link off a high authority site. So I thought, I'll put this on mine, and then I might make a few quid off it. I tried to set it so you had to put a minimum donation in of like $1 or £1 or something, but I don't think I succeeded in that. You see, I've got a donation there of less than a cent, less than a penny, all of them are less than a penny. A link for top cooling fan, piano for beginners, ExpressVPN. So yeah, this is a terrible, terrible, terrible idea. Please never ever do this. If you learn nothing else from this video, just don't do this because it's just pure spam. So, how did the site actually get on? Well, I've got some facts and figures here for you. Unfortunately, I don't have any access to historical GA data, and I've also deleted the Amazon affiliate ID from my account, so I can't see that either. But I do have rough ideas of what it got up to. I believe at its peak, it was doing about 3,000 sessions a month, which isn't bad for a site that's this terrible. In terms of affiliate earnings, I think it maxed out around £30 a month, $40 a month. I did try AdSense on it for a little bit, and I think I had ads running on it for over a year. And during that time, I didn't even earn enough for one payout. So I think it was in the region of about £30 as well from AdSense over the course of an entire year. So yeah, it wasn't a massive earner, didn't do particularly well. But I learned a huge amount from it. There's some things I think I did quite well on it, a lot of things I did really badly on it. So, problems with this site. There's a reason that Amazon pay 10% on clothes and shoes, and the reason is they don't convert particularly well. The rare occasions that I ever buy clothes or shoes, I rarely buy them from Amazon. I'd rather buy from a specialist store. I don't know about you, but Amazon isn't the first place I think of when I think clothes or shoes. It often is for everything else, but for them, not so much. 2, so I was hyper-focused on ranking for these sandals keywords, Kolhapuri Chapel, Peshawari Chapel. The whole site became primarily about those. There wasn't a sort of broader blogging strategy. It was very, very hyper-focused specifically just on those keywords, which kind of held it back quite a lot. But by far the biggest mistake I made with this niche is that it was something that I wasn't genuinely interested in. And I was writing all the content myself, but because I have no particular interest in Asian footwear, or any footwear for that matter, it meant that I quickly got bored of it, and I didn't keep it up, and the site slowly died. Another mistake was I also wasted time getting these useless links. I showed you that support page, spent quite a bit of time hunting for links like that, which added absolutely no value, wasted my time, wasted my money. If I'd spent that time actually working on the site, writing out some decent blog post content, could have done a whole lot better. So if I built this site now, here is what I would do differently. First thing I would do is I'd outsource all the content. As I said, the main reason the site failed was just because I got so bored of writing this stuff, because I just wasn't particularly interested in it. If I outsourced the content, that would have solved that problem. Unfortunately, that wasn't an option for me back then, as I just didn't have the budget to do it. Another thing I'd do is I would never ever try to do that e-commerce type thing I did. That was a waste of time. I'm always going to be outranked by actual proper e-commerce stores that deserve to be ranking top, so I was just wasting my time with that. Instead, I would just focus on blog content. I'd also use a far simpler theme. I'd stop trying to customize every page. I was messing about with menus and sidebars and just tweaking the theme was slightly different on all the pages, and it just got ridiculous. So I'd use a really simple theme, Just keep it really simple, focus on blog content, and keep it, stick to the basics. Another thing I do is, because I was just starting out, I just dreamed of ranking it in the UK. But these days when I start a site, I much prefer to use a .com domain rather than a .co.uk, because it has a broader appeal, a broader international appeal, which can help it do better overseas, or at least, entice a few more clicks. So I'd put it on a .com. Another thing I'd significantly broaden the scope of the blog to cover all things Asian fashion. I'd write blog posts on every question I could relating to footwear, and I'd move on to clothing and broaden it out like that. The problem with this particular niche, Asian footwear, and those, I think I've got 5 key types of footwear there that I was writing about on my site, is that it is very, very niche and very specific, and there weren't a huge amount of questions that could have been turned into blog posts. There were certainly more than one. I could easily have done 10, 20 or so, but sort of broadening that out would be a good thing to do to really give that site a lot more long-term potential. Another thing I'd do, instead of using pages for sort of all my articles I wanted to rank, I would use posts. It makes it much faster to get the content out. The reason I used pages was because I had some idea that sort of building sub-pages underneath those pages would help the main page rank. Kind of like an e-commerce site, you get a category page / product page. But it's just not necessary in the case of a site like this. With an affiliate site, you can get pretty much the same effects just by using internal links properly and effectively. So if you're just starting out, you're making your first affiliate website, and you want to make a success of it right from the get-go, the key things you can learn from chapels.co.uk are: it's best to choose a niche that is interesting to you until you can afford to outsource the content. This niche wasn't interesting to me, and I let it die. Focus on writing information that is primarily informational. So what I mean by that is the keyword Kolhapuri chapels would mostly be typed in by someone who's looking to buy some Kolhapuri chapels. They can't buy directly from my website, I'm just sending them to Amazon. So it makes more sense to rank an e-commerce site top for that keyword. So instead, write informational posts. Examples could be posts like how are Kolhapuri chapels made, how to darken Kolhapuri chapels. And if you want to go for the sort of buyer intent keywords, then go for the obvious affiliate keywords like best Kolhapuri chapels, because then you can kind of make a list that's interesting to the reader, that serves the user intent, and also hopefully gets you that sale without you having to be an e-commerce site. Another thing, just write posts rather than pages. Don't make all your articles pages, because that just makes it really messy, really difficult to manage the layout and structure of your website. Make them all posts, use internal links clearly and effectively, and it'll just be a whole lot easier than this mess was. And finally, don't waste your time getting really poor quality links. As you saw there, I showed you an example of those support page type links that I was going after and how I implemented that on my own site. That was all a complete waste of time. It did nothing for the site. It didn't help me rank. It made me no money as well, that particular page. But those types of links are never going to add any value to your site. What you want is niche, relevant, engaging, well-written blog posts that actually rank as well and drive traffic to your site when people read that particular article. So don't waste time on rubbish links. If you're going to build links, take your time to work out how to do that effectively and well, and in a way that's not spammy. So those are my top tips. Hope you found that useful. Feel free to have a look at my website, anarchive.org, and tell me what else is terrible about it in the comments below. Thank you for watching. Please do subscribe, smash that like button, and I will see you in a couple of months when I get around to making a new video, I guess.